Do I like what's going on in my industry, especially with this new trend? Are you following the new trends? Anybody here following the new trends, what we're doing? One of the things that is bothering me right now, the many things in my industry that bother me, one of the things that have bothered me is this new thing that Fresh Step and the ASPCA are doing. Anybody follow that? They're encouraging you to do free cat adoptions. And that they'll give $1 or whatever to the A for anybody that does free cat adoptions. We're in the situation we're in right now because we've been running these places like mom and pop candy stores. We have, animal industry has been devaluing the animals. We tell the people, this is what we tell the American public. If you want to get a good pet, get them out of the newspaper. Pay $1,000 for it. If you want to get a cheap, bargain basement, throwaway pet, come to us. That's what we have for you. Why is it that somebody can go out tomorrow, pay $500 for a pet, a month later decide they don't want it, and they relinquish it to us, and the minute it crosses over our threshold, we devalue it. We say, oh no, it's not worth $500 anymore because we have it. It's only worth $100. Why do we do that to the animals? Why do we do that to ourselves? You're going to hear a lot of differences. The sad part about the workshops here, and I'm the first one to admit it, I don't do any of them. You're going to see very little of me. You will see me today. You'll see me on the wrap-up on Friday. But anybody that needs to spend time with me, please just tell Liz and she'll make an appointment with you and you'll be on my calendar. Why don't I do the workshops? I don't do them because I never want them to end. I am smart enough to know that I could, in my travels, get hit by a car, something could happen to me, and then this ends if I'm the only one doing it. So that's why I have all the other directors and managers do the workshops, because I do them where I go. I'll be in Albuquerque next month. I'll be doing their state conference, and I'll be doing a workshop there. I'll be in Washington, D.C. at the end of the month doing a conference for Blog Pause. I'll be in Philadelphia this Sunday to help an organization out there. Now, understand something. The same thing that goes on with these workshops that we provide for free is the same thing that I do with my time. Nobody pays me to be there. When I was at Julie's place in Longmont, I won't accept payment because the value of a pet is priceless. I can't put a price tag on it. So if I'm helping you save those lives, that's all the payment that I need. I don't need anything else, and I don't want anything else. And most importantly, if I'm going to go into your facility, like I'm going to Philadelphia, and when I assess a facility, I am not giving them blue skies. Nobody owns me. If I see something wrong, I'm going to tell you. If I see something right, I'm going to congratulate you. This is my life. This is my industry. This is what I do. This is what I live and breathe. There is no ulterior motive. I'm not going to get anything more out of it other than the knowledge to know that I've helped organizations all over the world and look at things differently. The second trend that's pissing me off, and you folks with the felines would be really as pissed as I am, is the new trend with animal facilities. If you have too many felines and they're strays but they're domesticated, and you have too many of them and your facility is full, you take them and turn them back loose on the street. You hear that one? That's the new trend that's going on. I just found that out when I was in Ohio a few weeks ago with the Humane Society. It is appalling. That is the easy way out. The hard way is marketing, promotion, working, getting the footsteps in to give the pets adoptions. Here at Helen Woodward, a lot of you folks from the community know, we have the highest prices than any facility in San Diego on adoptions. And as a single unit, not the ones that have 2 or 3 or 4 facilities, but as a single unit, we do more adoptions than anybody else. We did not have to reduce our costs. We don't want, look, it's human nature. And when we fight human nature, that's when we lose. Human nature is this. If you're going to a prom, or you're going to a dinner, or you're going to a dance, and you put in your mind that, okay, I'm going to spend $200 on a dress, no more, that's my budget. And you go to the store, the retailer, and you see all these dresses in the $200 range, it's not you. You don't feel good about it. But all of a sudden you turn, and there's one, oh, that one really looks nice, it will look great on me. And it's $300. What do you think happens?
You pay $300.
That's human nature. I don't want it. People come in and tell me, well, that's too much money for that puppy. I'm going to say, fine, go home. I don't want you. If they're here because of the money value, don't come to me. I want you to fall in love and say, oh my God, it's $295 for that puppy. I didn't expect that, but I have to have it. I don't care if it's $595. That's what I want. I don't want people saying, well, I want a cheap pet. Get the hell out of my facility. I don't need you here. I don't want you here. We can't put a value on love. And love is the most overused word in the human vocabulary. I hate the word, really, because it's lost its meaning. There is no meaning to it. I love those shoes. I love that dress. I love that coat. I love that TV show. I love pets. What does it mean? It's just a word now. It's lost any significant meaning. Caring is much more important. Now, I know a lot of people come here, and every day we go through hard times, and we go through depression, and we build up these facades. We build up these facades that we're strong, and my first thing that I want to do is tear down that wall. So any of you that have these facades that you built up, I'm about to break them down. And guess who's going to help me? Denise, never be the last one to sit down. Come on, Denise.
Well, it's because I was
Denise is going to read something
socializing with
for
the
you.
girls.
I know. Now you're going to socialize with everybody. And Denise is going to read something to you. I'm going to step out. Denise is going to read something to you. And you just put your mind in that mindset.
Is this going to make me cry?
I hope so. You can sit and read it.
No, don't make me do this. Oh, God. How could you? When I was a puppy, I entertained you with my antics and made you laugh. Oh, I can't even do this stuff. First sentence, okay. You called me your child, and despite a number of chewed shoes and a couple of murdered throw pillows, I became your best friend. When I was bad, you'd shake your finger at me and ask, how could you? But then you'd relent and roll me over for a belly rub. My house training took a little longer than expected because you were terribly busy, but we worked on that together. I remember those nights of nuzzling you in bed, listening to your confidences and secret dreams, and I believed that life could not be any more perfect. We went for long walks and runs in the park, car rides, stops for ice cream. I only got the cone because ice cream is bad for dogs, you said. Then I took long naps in the sun, waiting for you to come home at the end of the day. Gradually, you began spending more time at work and on your career, and more time searching for a human mate. I waited for you patiently, comforted you through the heartbreaks and disappointments, never chided you about your bad decisions, and romped with glee at your homecomings, and when you fell in love. She, now your wife, is not a dog person. Still, I welcomed her into our home, tried to show her affection, and obeyed her. I was happy because you were happy. Then the human babies came along and I shared your excitement. I was fascinated by their pinkness, how they smelled, and I wanted to mother them too. Only she and you worried that I might hurt them, and I spent most of my time banished to another room or to a dog crate. And oh, how I wanted to love them, but I became a prisoner of love. I am so sorry. They clung to my fur and pulled themselves up on wobbly legs, poked fingers in my eyes, investigated my ears, and gave me kisses on my nose. I loved everything about them and their touch, because your touch was now so infrequent, and I would have defended them with my life if need be. I would sneak into their beds and listen to their worries and secret dreams. Together we waited for the sound of your car in the driveway. There had been a time when others asked if you had a dog that you produced a photo of me from your wallet and told them stories about me. These past few years, you just answered yes and changed the subject. I had gone from being your dog to just a dog, and you resented every expenditure on my behalf. Now you have a new career opportunity in another city. Oh, I'm gonna kill you.
This makes us want to go home and go get our pets.
And you and they will be moving to an apartment that does not allow pets. You've made the right decision for your family, but there was a time when I was your only family. That's a whole other page.
I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but I'll be good, I'll be kind today.
Oh, thank you, thank
One of the
you.
rare times I'll ever be kind. We have an obligation. We have an obligation to these pets. If we're gonna be in this industry, then we have an obligation to give it all we have or get the hell out of this industry. We don't belong there. The animals already have our hearts. We don't have anything to prove to them. It's our minds that they need in order for them to live. In our culture, in our society, we do more to advertise a Coca-Cola, a hamburger, a hot dog, than we do to advertise and market these beautiful pets. We want to know why people don't come to our facility and give an orphan a chance. Well, what the hell are we doing about getting them to come to our facility? How are we marketing our product? How are we showing the public the beautiful animals that we have? We all know Macy's. There's not a person in this room, maybe you, that doesn't know Macy's. But we do know that Macy's would go out of business if they stopped advertising. They advertise every single day. And the product that they have, the dresses, the shoes, the appliances, are all visual. So that's why they put it in there, the visual. We have visual product. Here's what happens. I know this happens all throughout the U.S. and probably all over the world. Here in San Diego, about 8 weeks ago, a 75-year-old woman was attacked by her neighbor's pit bull. And the woman, I believe, lost her leg from it. It was exploited all over the news, all over the media. And the very last thing that the host of the TV show said, that animal went now to the animal services and was euthanized. Guess who watches the news? Moms and dads. You think they're going to go down there and get one of those killer animals for their children if they believe that's all that they have at these facilities? They're just not. They'll go to the newspaper, get one from a puppy mill or a pet shop because they think you don't have anything better. Here at the center, we make it a policy. One of the things that we do for the staff. Anybody that brings us a story that we use through public, God bless you, in public relations, if it makes print media, you get a $25 bonus. If it makes TV, you get a $50 bonus. isn't that relatively inexpensive for something that's going to get you a news story that's going to hit 1 million readers, or a TV story that could make national? Here's the difference how I think than most people think. My mind is all messed up because I'm doing everything I can every day. I work for them. I work for the animals. That's my job. About 10 weeks, 3 months ago, the hottest story out there was Charlie Sheen and his crazy antics. You couldn't turn the news on or read the paper without that nonsense. So, okay, let me take advantage of that. I took a litter of 3 puppies. The boy we named Charlie. The 2 girls we named his girlfriends. And we sent out a news release and said, we have Charlie and his girlfriend, and we're going to separate them. They've been living together long enough, and we're going to separate them. Then to all of the hosts that had Charlie on their station, and they interviewed him, we sent them a special news release telling them, you got to interview Charlie. We got to neuter him. The media was all over the place showing the puppies that we had. Then about 10, 12 weeks ago, you had another big thing that happened in the news. You had the royal wedding that was all over the media.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and so what we did is we took a couple of puppies, one we named Kate, one we named William. We had the royal wedding here. They had it there at Buckingham Palace. We had it here at Barkingham Palace. And we had the Duke and the Duchess and everybody else here for it. So the media came out and they showed all of our animals, so more people came in to adopt because they saw these beautiful pets. My favorite one was when Animal Services called me up several years back, and they said to me, we have a 9-year-old Rottweiler that gave birth to 6 puppies, and we're not going to be able to keep her. We're going to have to euthanize her unless you can help us and take her. I said, sure, we'll take her. So I sent Labette Thompson down, and she got her, and Labette came back to me and looked me dead in the eye and said, okay, I have this 9-year-old Rottweiler with 6 puppies. What are we going to do with her? I said, we're going to get a story out, get interest, get applications so she can be adopted once she weans the babies and we spay her. And she said, well, who's going to be interested? What media is going to be interested in a 9-year-old Rottweiler with 6 puppies? I said, if you say it that way, nobody. But that's not what the headline read. The headline read, 63-year-old gives birth to 6 triplets. I had every single network here getting involved in that. So I had, within 30 minutes, I had 20 applications for Mom when she was ready. We work for the animals. That's who we work for. That's what this is really all about. The folks in Texas will tell you in a heartbeat that there are many facilities in Texas that have a 90 to 95% kill rate. Am I correct? Why? This is 2011. We need to change. We need to change everything about our industry. Helen Woodward Animal Centre is the facility of the future, and you'll learn more about that as you take your tour. But everything about our industry has to change. We need to get rid of shelters. They have to go away. And let me explain what I mean by that. Years ago in our country, we had children's orphanages. And they had a stigma about them that was from Oliver Twist, Little Orphan Annie, and the horrible stories. So nobody would support them because they thought they were horrible places for children. So they changed it. You don't hear children's orphanages anymore. You hear centers, youth homes, etc. Years ago in our country, we had old folks' homes. And they had a stigma about abusing the elderly, taking advantage of them. So now you don't hear of them anymore. Now it's assisted living, senior centers. They changed the public perception of who they are and what they do. Look at this. Look how far behind we are in our country. We no longer have garbage trucks. We have waste management. All of these that had a bad stigma about them, they changed. Why do we still keep the dog pound in animal shelters? We have to change. We have to have animal centers, animal villages, animal campuses. We have to change and soften up the public's perception of who we are and what we do. Now, when you do go to the adoptions department tomorrow, you will not see one mixed breed here. We don't have mixed breeds. We have blends. We're with the times. We have terrier blends, we have shepherd blends, because we're with the times. We're Starbucks. We have blends. We don't have mixes. We are not devaluing the animals. We have to stop that. We really have to stop devaluing. We can't say that, look, if you want a cheap one, come to us. We have to change. And we have to think outside the box. We have to constantly think outside the box for the animals. We're working for them. We're working to save them. And we have to look at different ways to bring in revenue. Now, 50% of our revenue comes in from our fundraising, our direct mail, our special events. I mean, we're getting ready, and Nedra's going to talk about it more later, so I'm not going to get on it much, is our Surf Dog Surfathon. Last year, we had over 100, about 80-something dogs competing on surfboards. And it was shown all over the world. We had 200 million media impressions on it. And this year, it's going to be even bigger. We already have a call from 2 film crews from Germany that are coming out here, and they come from all over the world to see this event of these dogs having fun on surfboards. Last year's winners, we could not have trained dogs to do this. In the last heat, the 2 larger dogs that were on, they were surfing side by side together. Their boards hit, this dog fell off, this dog jumped on his board and finished the ride. You couldn't have trained that. And if you go on ESPN, they have a 3-minute clip all about this. But what do sponsors like? Sponsors like when you have something that's going to give them media attention. That's how you get the sponsors. But Nedra's going to get more involved with that. Out here, we're going to start taking a tour in about 5 minutes. Out here we have our boarding facility. And we'll net this year about $400,000 off our boarding net that will go to help our orphans. This time of year, we're completely full. The summertime, spring break, holiday weekends and everything, we're completely booked, and we normally have about 200 people on the waiting list to get in. Knowing this, in our new facility, because we finished phase 1, we're going into phase 2, in the new facility, we're going to double the occupancy of our boarding. And we're going to take 75% of the run areas and make them all suites that we are going to sell as timeshares. So people can buy the weeks that they want, trade them if they don't use them. At the pet's demise, they can donate it back to us and get a tax write-off. I am in the business of saving lives. It takes money to do so, so I have to put in revenue streams. The education department, where she's teaching day camp, we get $400,000 from that, and that's teaching children. Why is it that all these other places have day camp on playing baseball, day camp on soccer, day camp on swimming? What's wrong with day camp on how to share the earth with animals and have fun while doing it? The kids love it. So please pay attention when Summerall goes through that. We should have these at every animal facility all over the country. And you see how I get away from using the word shelter, because I call them a facility. I call this an industry. This industry is so backward and so behind the times. And I get very, very, very offended when we don't think of what these animals do for us. Those of you that never heard me speak about it, I am very sincere about my role and what I do and what I'm giving my life to. And I look at what these animals give to us. If we were the unfortunate individuals that lost our sight, there would be a dog that would be bred, raised, and trained to be the eyes of a human. Now that dog will never play frisbee, will never play fetch, will never play catch, will never run along the beach, will get up every day of his natural life to be the eyes of a human, to lead them to where they need to go. They'll never complain about it. They will do it until they physically can't do it any longer. Same if we're confined to a wheelchair, there'll be a dog that'll be bred, raised, and trained, turn on lights for us, open doors for us, pick up what we drop, be our loyal companion. We'll do it because they physically can't do it any longer. And I don't want anyone to ever, ever forget these magnificent animals and what they do for us in search and rescue, and the countless lives that they save, and what they do for our military overseas. They have great instinct. They know danger. When they're used for bomb sniffing, they know that they're willing to give their life for us. Michael Kingston was the blind man that was on the 86th floor of the World Trade Center the day it got hit. Michael Kingston came out here shortly after, and he explained to me in detail what took place that day from his perception. He heard the explosion, felt the explosion, heard the screams, felt the heat, smelt the fumes, but he had to stay perfectly calm. He had to stay perfectly calm because his guide dog, Roselle, was going to have to lead him down 86 flights of stairs. And she had to have the internal instinct to lead him away from the building before it collapsed. Now, when you say 86 flights, that's not 86 steps, it's 86 flights. It's over 1,000 steps. And he explained on the decline how she put her head gently against his knee, and she would apply pressure to every step so he wouldn't stumble. And he explained, as he was declining those steps, those wonderful firemen were on their way up, and each one stopped him and said, "Sir, do you need help?" He said, "No, I have Roselle. Go help the others." And he said he felt each one of the firemen reach down to pet her, and she turned and kissed them all goodbye, because those heroes never came back. The last compassion they received on this earth came from this guy. Look, we were put on this earth to share it with them. They will do everything that they can for us. When do we step up to the plate and say, you know what? We're supposed to be the intelligent beings on this earth. We need to give back. We need to protect them. We have to set the animal welfare industry ahead of where it is. We have to change it. The worst words that I ever hear when people tell me that that's animal control. The layperson doesn't know the first thing about animal control. What do they know? They know pest control. So if pest control or pest exterminators, then animal control must be animal exterminators. We have to get away from this terminology. We have to show that we are professionals. We're professional lifesavers, we're professional rescue workers, we're professional carers. That's what we have to portray. That's the image we have to portray to the public. We have to change this industry and stop devaluing the animals and stop taking the easy way out through euthanasia, through turning them back loose in the street. Let's work at giving them the dignity they deserve, because you know what? If they had the opportunity, they would do it for us. Again, you don't see much of me, but if you need to spend time with me, just let Liz know and she'll fit you in on my calendar. You're going to hear things over the next couple of days. You're going to hear things about chemical castration. There's something on Friday that we're going to talk about that I'm very excited about. I can't talk about because I'm under a confidentiality clause, but something new that's going to be coming out that is just going to be mind-boggling to all of us. But the industry is going to change, and we're the ones that have to make the change. So I'm going to give us a quick tour, and I have a half hour. We're going to go to Club Pet, and we're going to go over to the education department. We won't go to adoptions because you're going to go over there tomorrow, and you're going to go to all the other areas tomorrow. And again, don't leave here. Don't leave here without your questions answered. And don't leave here, if you need to spend time with me, you just tell Liz when she comes through to get you on my calendar. Okay? Ready to take a tour?
Oh, I want to see it. You want me to hold on for it? This one is?
You're a love. You're a little love bug, huh?
So, what do you usually get done?
Short, you're starting to get older. Okay.
This was built way before its time, 30 years ago. What other organization was doing something like this as a way to bring in? And by the time they get to this, we're gonna be we're 2 years away from our new facility. And I'm gonna take you from here, I don't wanna interrupt this, let's go outside. Now this Tree of Life, this is a donor Tree of Life. We have them in some of the buildings where we have an artist come in and paint the tree and the leaves. And then people at their pet's demise can buy a gold leaf and we'll put it up on the Tree of Life. It's a fundraiser. We pay $5 for them and we sell for $115 a leaf. And when a tree gets filled, all we do is paint another tree. There's some information over there if you want to grab some. I'll give it to you when we get back to summer.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
Next time. Fall, we decided to take our work ethics and use them to enhance the quality of life for animals. Don't dare look at us as second-class citizens, because we're not. So I'm going to take you and show you.
to do, and we have to figure out what.
Adoption center.
Yes, sir.
These are all wetlands, dental work, all that. Even though surgery, like, I can't tell you how expensive it is. We know. You go ahead. Go right in. Anything you want. That's a scrub room in there. There is both sides. I talked to the dean yesterday, by the time he hired his staff and everything, it will be January. He's signed a lease to make sure he has it, and then I have to add. Now this is Western University.
Oh, okay.
Newest vet college out in Pomona. So we're looking forward to this. Now, some of you probably heard people say they've heard my story. And I'm not going to tell you. I forgot all about it. About 8 months ago, I forgot all about it. And then I got this DVD in the mail, and they said their show has been expanded for another year, and they sent me my copy of it. And I asked Rita, I said, is this audio or video? She said, Mike, it's a DVD, it's video. So I said, all right, let me see, you want to watch the interview? Let's see how stupid I look. And so I put it in, but I had to stop and walk out because they hired actors to reenact that day in the Bronx. And they did a total reenactment of what happened to me and about the dog and everything. So if any of you really want to see it, you can come over to my conference room and I'll come and play it for you. I will not watch it. I lived it, so I don't have to go through it again. Animals and everything, that is complete isolation. Will be staff lockers. And you can see the server room out here, computer space here. This will be the staff lounge.
Windows.
I mean, we tried to think of everything. We had every expert we could come in and think of it. And then you can see everything was thought of, even the colors, to make it bright, cheerful, not depressing or anything like that. You know, I can't look in a cage and say, I love you, and that's going to save its life. It doesn't work. It's our intelligence that are going to change the way things are to make it a better place. The Humane Society of Puerto Rico takes in 120 animals a day on average. That's the average day, taking in 120 animals a day. The manager's job is to pick which 3 get to live. The other 117 are killed every single day. And if you ever want something to rip your heart out, you walk through one of these facilities where they're just reaching out for you with their paws. They're sensing what's going to happen, and they want you to give them a chance. So my statement, everybody knows this. They need our intelligence. They already have our hearts. We don't have to prove anything more to them. They need our intelligence to change this whole industry, to make it be what it should be in this great country of ours, and then share it with everybody else. That's what I don't.
Mike, what's going to happen to the existing?
Manager. I have been here at the center for 19 and a half years. This was my first job out of college, and I may be one of the luckiest people in the world. I'm going to come around and give you just a little one sheet about the talk that we're going to be going through today. Chester, hey, come in here and do some pet therapy. Here you go.
Here, Chester. Chester.
Chester, good on those tips. Oh.
Pet Encounter Therapy Program. It was in 1983. Animals were not considered therapeutic. Animals were dirty and had no business in local facilities. We begged and borrowed. One local skilled nursing facility allowed us to bring animals in. Now I tell you, back in 1983, they had every reason to be concerned about pet therapy. There were no regulations. We would go into our adoptions department, we would see a cute puppy, and we would say, come on over with us, and go to a facility visit. We wouldn't test for behavior, we wouldn't test for any kind of medical issues, and we would take the animals over. So since that slow start, we now travel to about 40 facilities a month. We have about 5 to 7 facilities that come here on a regular basis, and we also do hospice and independent visits. We work with every kind of clientele that you can imagine. Children, psychiatric clients, people with Alzheimer's, active duty military. So it's really grown beyond that skilled nursing facility. Now there's 2 forms of animal therapy. The technical terms are AAA and AAT. AAA stands for Animal Assisted Activities, and that's about 98% of what you see out there in the animal therapy. It's where somebody is bringing in a cute dog, somebody is enjoying that dog, it's a very organic experience, it goes wherever that client really wants it to go, and there's not any goals or directions in it. Then there's Animal Assisted Therapy, where you're working towards a specific goal or a specific outcome with a therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist, psychiatrist, physician, and you're working towards that goal with the client and with the animal. So that tends to be a little bit more specialized. And so about 95% of what we do in our program is the animal-assisted activities. Okay? Now, And we noticed that she was obsessed with being pet and touched and loved people. She would scream about 10 hours a day. And we thought, well, how can we help this bird to get more, more interaction and not drive the staff crazy? And so we thought, well, let's try to see if she could be a therapy bird. Now, the biggest issue with birds is they carry a lot of zoonosis that you have to worry about. She has to get a lot of testing to ensure that she's safe to go out and do the visits. The next big issue is that birds bite. Now, with cockatoos, they tend to love everybody, but any bird can bite. So we had to train her not to bite. The next thing was not to bite IVs. Birds love shiny. Trachea tubes are shiny, IV lines are shiny, nose oxygen delivery systems are shiny. So we had to train her to stay away from those. They don't work as well if there's a hole in the middle of them. Yes. The next thing we had to train her to do was to be potty trained, which only took about 2 weeks. And if any of you have kids, it's way shorter to train a cockatoo than a human child to go potty in the right place. So we had to train her to do that. With Harriet, her specialty is that some of the clients that we work with, we could not reach them because they couldn't touch or feel the sensation of a dog or a cat. They had been paralyzed from the neck down, had lost mobility, couldn't move their hands and couldn't feel with their hands. How were we going to get them to enjoy a golden retriever? You can't lift up a 70-pound golden retriever and rub it against their face. It's too hard, it's too awkward, and it's not safe. So with Harriet, we thought, can we train her to work with these people? And we started to train her to crawl up people's chests and to cuddle against their cheeks. She'll play with their nose and play with their ears and kiss their eyelashes, and she's this amazing bird. Now that was kind of hard in that being up close to their face, birds like to be as high as possible on people, and so she kind of saw that as a dominance issue, and we started rewarding her for being on the shoulder but then coming back to me through positive reinforcement. So it was important that we trained her to come back off the client. Do you want to pet this pretty girl?
I suppose.
I will tell you, she loves men, she loves glasses, and she loves blondes. Those are her 3 favorite things in the entire world. Yeah. And she loves,
Have you ever used a chicken?
Well, I know Delta Society has certified and registered chickens. We've not used a chicken in our program, but I hear that they can do great work. Yeah.
It was some of the same things with sensation.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's so great with her is that she's also very easy to kind of nest into somebody's neck where a chicken would be a little bit larger. Also, chickens, I don't think they can be as potty trained as well as a cockatoo because they're just kind of going, all the time. With Miss Harriet, another issue that we had to work on is that with a lot of clients that have that paralysis, they have a little paddle next to them where they can roll over their head and call the nurse. She figured out the paddle on her second visit, and she would jump on the paddle and then run over to the other side, and the nurses would come running and yell at me and reset the paddle, and then she'd go over and kind of, and sometimes just hanging out with the people, she'd hit the paddle again, and I got in a lot of trouble for that.
like that, right? Put on the website.
With her dancing? Super cute.
What is she doing when she puts her feathers up like that?
Well, in the wild, she looks bigger, and so a predator might think twice
okay.
about going after her, but it also shows emotion, kind of like our eyebrows show emotion. She's just really excited. And that's something, we've been together 19 years, so I know her body language. I'm mom. So when I take her out on those visits, I know when she's starting to get stressed, and I can take her out of that.
How many years do they live?
50 to 60, and she's 39. He's a good-looking 39-year-old, huh? Yes.
Do you clip her wings so she
We
doesn't
do,
fly?
yeah. She is very smart, but not smart enough to realize that windows are solid, and so she could really hurt herself if she tried to, fly through a window.
Explain to us the potty training of it.
You know what, from what I've talked to bird trainers, you can't really make a bird do a behavior that's not natural. You can simply put a natural behavior to a cue. So like the dancing, or throwing treats, or flying, or different things like that. So going to the bathroom is a natural behavior. We would watch how often she would go. It'd be about every half an hour. As we'd get closer to that time period, we'd hold her over a trash can, and when she'd go, we'd say the word. Within 2 weeks, she was trained.
Wow. How does she stay
cannot
so
go on.
light?
There's a powder that her body produces that keeps her water resistant, helps insulate her, but it also keeps her really clean. The thing that does stick to her is makeup. We'll get some of these lovely seniors and they've got, base makeup and rouge, and they smash her against their face, and then she's got, and it's not the right color. It's not her signature color.
Does she like for you to bathe her, or does she not like that?
You know what, you've never really bathed with any kind of soap. You would strip all those great oils and powder off of their body, so we just do a misting of water. She's not a big fan. We do it because she needs it, but she's not. No, that's okay. She just likes you, that's all. That's right, super chicken. So, we've talked about the different species that we have that we can work with, and not every animal meets everybody's needs, and there are some clients that can't reach out to any animal. We had one man that for 6 months has never talked or reacted to her animals. We brought in a picture of one of our therapy dogs wearing goggles and a helmet, because she rides on the back of a Vespa in a harness and a special basket. And the man started laughing hysterically at the photo, and it was the first time the staff had ever heard him laugh or had ever seen him smile. So we're constantly trying to figure out, is it going to be a photo? Is it going to be a sticker for the kids? Is it going to be touching a bird? Is it going to be petting a dog? We want to help every client if we can. That's right.
I can't imagine that, because I've got that there's too many that need therapy parents, just with the biting.
One in a million, really, honestly. She won an award for her work in California, the only bird to ever win the award for doing therapy work. It's through CVMA. They highlight an animal that best exemplifies the human-animal bond. And really, I have never met a bird like her. I would never trust another bird that close to my face. Are you kidding? And I mean, I keep on over this bird all the time. Yes. Yeah, so it is she's very special. But what's great about it is that we were able to see what her needs were and to match them with a wonderful career.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's what it should be.
Screaming neurotic couple.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that so many dogs, people come into my program, they want their dog desperately to be in it, and it's not fair to expect every dog to do this, or every rabbit, or every guinea pig. It takes a special animal. People smell different at these facilities. The body chemistry is so altered because of medication. And so it is something that you have to have a special animal that can take it. And am I taking up your time, or is this break time?
Those are the break time.
Okay, break time, if anybody needs to go, and if anybody wants to pet Harriet more. She knows it too.
I'm sure she's probably knows she's being filmed now too.
Maybe she can sound blonde.
Yeah, well, you know what, hey, guy with glasses, you want to go march around, what do you want to do? You know what, she had to have a major surgery a number of years ago, and the surgery, not because of, I mean, the vets are incredibly talented, but what it was is that it's such a small area, there was some nerve damage done, and that's why you see her legs kind of turn like that, yeah. I don't know anything about birds. Yes. Silver chicken, you're such a yes, you are, yes.
That's like really.
You know what, I'm worried she might get your bracelet, so I'll put her on the table right here. There we go.
This mockingbird was a baby, and he's like 3 weeks old, and he's like right here, and he just loves me. He thinks I'm his mama.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, I've had to pass him to 3 people each day as I'm gone, because they're like, I can't take care of him.
Where's Mandy?
Hi, baby. But I like doing that. But he like cries, but I'm not there.